Alright, first and foremost, I want to give call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. That's all praises to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son, who the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. It's your brother, tells upon you by Yahweh to come back at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. With another edifying video. I want to make this quick. I got inspired at camp yesterday to revisit a lesson that was done years ago by Chief Priest Alazar, right? And it was called the Law of the Stranger. I think that's what it was called. So I was flipping through my notes, and, I found my notes on it. And also yesterday, a couple of sisters at camp came up to the camp, wanted to be edified on the same manner. Then today, I get a text from one of my soldiers that was asking about specific verses, and was asking, how do you determine, what type of stranger is it talking about? Sometimes when you see the word stranger or foreigner, it's talking about a heathen nation. Other times you see stranger, it could be referring to an Israelite, right? So let's just go through a couple of key verses that'll help with understanding for edification of the nation. So let's just go into it. All right. This is Exodus 12 and 19. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel. So whoever this is referring to, Exodus 12 and 19, they're of the congregation of Israel, right? Which means they descend from the various 12 tribes, all right? So I'm going to start back from the top. Exodus 12 and 19. 7 days, right, shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth it which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land, right? So whoever this stranger is, or whoever is born in the land, what do they both have in common? They're of the congregation of Israel, right? And another key point to bring out is that this is dealing with the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which comes after Passover. Can a heathen keep the Passover? Let's find out. Exodus 12 and 43. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. Now wait a minute. In Exodus 12 and 19, this stranger, whoever this stranger is in Exodus 12 and 19, right? They're keeping the Feast of Unleavened Bread that comes right after the Passover. On top of that, they're of the congregation of Israel, right? Then this stranger in Exodus 12 and 43, it says they shall not eat of the Passover at all, right? So either we got a contradiction in Scripture, which that's not so, or there's two types of strangers, right? So let's look at this the Hebrew word for stranger in Exodus 12 and 19, right? It's Exodus 12 and 19, and it's the word gar, right? Gar, which means sojourner, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights, of foreigners in Israel. Foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights, right? Properly a guest by implication, a foreigner, alien, sojourner, stranger, right? So let's say I'm from the tribe of Judah, so my land allotment is within the tribe of Judah. And let me see, I think Judah's land was right next to the Philistines, right? So let's say my pops, right? He moves out of the land of Judah, and he has me and my siblings within the land of the Philistines, right? So that's where we grow up. That's where we learn the ropes. That's where we, basically had our childhood at. We're still Judites, but we live in the land of the Philistines, right? So when it's time for Passover to come, right, we still have a right and we're still commanded to celebrate Passover. So what will we end up doing? We're not going to keep it where the Philistines are. We're going to come into the land of Judah, right? We're going to come into the land of Judah as an Israelite foreigner. Why are we an Israelite foreigner? Because I wasn't born within my native land, right? I was born outside of my native land. Yet and still, I still have the right and I'm still commanded to come within the borders of the 12 tribes of Israel and celebrate Passover. Okay? Let's look at this word for Exodus 12 and 43, right? Copy that. Okay. Boom. I'm pretty sure it's Nakar. It's the Hebrew word Nakar. And this is dealing with the stranger that can't eat of the Passover. And we're going to further substantiate that this is a heathen, right? So, Hebrew word Nakar, right? There shall be no stranger, Nakar. Foreign, alien, foreignness, that which is foreign. Foreignness, foreign gods, alien, foreigner, foreign vanities, right? Let's look at the Strong's definition. Foreign or concretely a foreigner or abstractly. Heathendom, right? Alien, strange. So, as we can see, Exodus 12 and 19 uses the Hebrew word gar for stranger, which pertains to a foreign Israelite, an Israelite foreigner, right? And Exodus 12 and 43 uses the word nakar, which is talking about a heathen. This is why the stranger in Exodus 12 and 43 cannot eat of the Passover. Okay? Exodus 12 and 48. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. So I'm going to give the same example that I just gave not that long ago. If I'm from the tribe of Judah, right, and my pops moves from out of the land of Judah and goes right into the land of the Philistines, it's right next door, and he has me and my siblings within that land, right? I don't grow up in the land of Judah, although I'm a Judite. I'm a Judite that's dwelling amongst Philistines, right? So amongst the Philistines, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to be circumcised, right? Because when we deal with being around heathen nations, more times than not, we take on their customs and their ways, right? So when I come to keep the Passover, when it comes time for Passover, and I want to come back to my to the land of my nativity, right? Where my people trace back to. When I come to the land of Judah, I'm going to have to circumcise myself, so I can keep the Passover, because that's a law of, that governs our land, our holy land, right? Exodus 12 and 49. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, right? And unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. So there's one law for those that live in the land, and there's another law for the stranger that sojourneth among them that live in the land, right? Somebody's family that moved out, another Israelite family that moved out of the land, that dwells in a heathenistic land, that comes back to celebrate the feast days and the holy days, right? Because it's proven in Exodus 12 and 43 that a heathen can't even keep the Passover. So if you see any verse that talks about a stranger keeping the Passover, that it's talking about an Israelite. Let's see, Leviticus 25 and 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. In Israel, all 12 tribes had their own land allotments. if I'm an Asherite and I'm down on my luck and I'm in the land of Manasseh, right? I would be a foreigner in the land of Manasseh. Although we're both Israelites, I would be a foreigner to that land because I'm not of the tribe of Manasseh. But those Manassites would have to keep the law and do what? Take me in as and treat me as if I was one of their tribe, right? Leviticus 19:17. And thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt not in any wise rebuke. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Right? So Leviticus 20:25 and 35 calls the stranger or the sojourner your brother. And then we see in Leviticus 19:17, it says, thou shalt not hate thy brother. Right? Who is your brother? Leviticus 19:18, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Right? But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So, brother, children of thy people, kinsmen of the flesh, all these things are equated, with somebody that's of your same lineage, your same line, right? They go back, they hold the same ethnic background, Israelites. Let's see, dude, I read that one already. Leviticus, no, I read that already. Okay. Leviticus 25:36. Take thou no usury of him. And this is talking about, the matter of fact, let me bring out 35 again, just so I can get the context. Leviticus 25:35. And if thy brother be waxen poor, right, and fallen into decay with thee, then shalt thou relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Right? So he's in another part of another neighborhood full of Israelites that are not of his tribe. Those Israelites got to take him in. Verse 36. Take thou no usury of him, right? Or increase, but fear thy power, and thy brother may live with thee. Right? So you can't commit usury on a fellow Israelite. Verse 37. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend thy victuals for increase. Right? Deuteronomy 23:19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother. Usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. So we have 3 verses that say you cannot lend anything, upon usury to your brother, right? And this brother is being labeled a stranger, right? Now let's see what Deuteronomy 23:20 says. Deuteronomy 23:20 says, unto a stranger thou mayest lend usury. Why can you lend usury to the stranger in 23:20, but you can't do it in 23:19, Leviticus 25:37, or 36? Because the stranger in Leviticus 25:36, verse 37, and Deuteronomy 23:19 is your brother, right? But in Deuteronomy 23:20, this stranger is of the other nations. So guess what? I can lend usury upon a heathen, right? Thus saith the law, man. This is in the first 5 books, man. This is in the Torah, right? Deuteronomy 23:20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, right? That the Lord thy God may bless thee in all thou settest thine hand in the land, whether thou goest to possess it. Okay. Let's see. This is Leviticus 19:33. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him. Right. So if I'm from the tribe of Zebulun and I'm dwelling in the tribe of Reuben, right? They're not supposed to vex me, man. They got to treat me like, a fellow Israelite, right? And let's just say, let's say I'm a Reubenite, and let's say I don't stay in the land of Reuben, and I think I think Reuben and Gad's land was right there by Ammonite territory. So let's say I stay in the land of Ammon, right? But my line traces back to me being a Reubenite. When it's time to come keep Passover, I'm going to come into the land of Reuben, right? And those born in the land is not supposed to vex me, man. You know, they're not supposed to treat me as if I'm a damn Ammonite because I live in an Ammonite land, right? Numbers 1 and 18. And they assembled Salakia, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the houses of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls, right? So no matter where any Israelite stays, no matter if they stay in the land or outside the lands of Israel, if their father line go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they are an Israelite, and you can't treat them no different, okay? According to the law. 1 Corinthians 23 and 14. Here goes an example of Moses' kids, being of the tribe, still reckoned of the tribe of Levi, although their mom is not an Israelite, right? So this is 1 Corinthians 23 and 14. Now concerning Moses, the man of God, his sons were named after the tribe of Levi, right? And why is that? Because Romans 11 and 16, for if the first fruit be holy, the lump is holy, right? So because Moses comes from a holy lineage, so does his sons. You know what I'm saying? No matter who his mom is, in the same way their mom don't matter, right? Wherever the hell they live at doesn't matter either, right? Because you're an Israelite no matter where in the hell you're residing at, right? If the root be holy, so are the branches, right? So let me bring out a couple more precepts on this, right? So we have the word stranger that pops up in Isaiah 14, right? Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy upon Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. This is future prophecy. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right? So it's already mentioned in Israel, it's already mentioned in Jacob, but then it says strangers. So it's making the distinction, right? Verse 2. And the people shall take them, right? That's talking about the Israelites, shall take these strangers, right? And bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors, right? So we know in context of Isaiah 14 and 1 through 2, the strangers that are mentioned here are of the other nations, right? Proverbs 5 and 10. Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth and thy labors, but in the house of a stranger, right? Be in the house of a stranger. Let's look up the word that's used right here in Proverbs 5 and 10. Proverbs 5 and 10. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's Nakar, but let me just make sure. Okay, boom. Nakar, like I thought. Nakar, right? Strange, a variety of degrees, application, foreign, non-relative, adulterate, different, wonderful, alien, foreign, outlandish, stranger, right? So let's go back to the scriptures. So yeah, this is dealing with, people of another nation. Proverbs 5 and 10. Let strangers be filled with thy wealth, and thy labors be in the house of a stranger, right? So let's look at Genesis 5 and 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and there they shall serve, and and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Who is this talking about? This is talking about the Israelites, right? And right here it says, what? Thy seed shall be a what? Stranger in a land that is not theirs. What was that land that was not ours? Egypt. Alright, this is talking about ancient Egypt. Matter of fact, let's just get the context, right? Let's get the context. Let's prove that this is talking about the Israelites. You know, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Alright. Paste. Boom. Here we go. So this is Genesis 5 and 13, and I'm going to read the 14, right? And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Verse 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. What is that great substance talking about? We went in Egypt, I think like 70 deep, and we came out a whole nation, right? And we also spoiled the Egyptians. And what does that mean, man? We took their gold and their silver, man. You know, that's referring to that great substance, man. And that goes back, you know, that's referring to the children of Israel, man. All right. So I think that's about it for this video. I think I made the point abundantly clear, you know. So anytime somebody, you know, tries to go to certain verses, you know, to say the strangers are these people or the foreigners is talking about the other nations, make them read the context, man. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, and Shalom.